Using the gold-silver ratio to determine whether or not you should be buying or selling gold and silver is a losing strategy. And I'm going to share with you some reasons why. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Empire Precious Metals. Stormy here. If you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a guy in a bucket talking about precious metals. So make sure you blast that subscribe button, get the bell notification clicked. That way you get updated with any new content. It's been a while since I talked about the gold-silver ratio, and I figured, you know what, I'd revisit this topic again because we have seen some movement in the ratio. And I've said multiple times throughout the history of this channel that I do not use the gold-silver ratio as a determining factor whether or not I should buy or sell silver or gold. I have some reasons as to why that is, and I'm going to share those reasons with you. But before I do, I just want to share with you right now that the gold-silver ratio is currently sitting at 84-1. So at the time of the recording of this video, on May 30th of 2022, we see that the gold-silver ratio is 84-1, hence the 84 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold, as you see here on the desk. We did see, though, an all-time high in the gold-silver ratio dating back in March of 2020, where it just almost hit 120-1. It closed out the day at 118. So that's quite a significant amount of silver to cover the cost of 1 ounce of gold. One would say that during that time, on March 15th of 2020, that the price of gold was really strong that compared to silver, right? Silver was weak. That's why it took 118 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. Now, being that the price of gold to silver ratio has changed, right? We see that it is at 84-1 right now. What does that actually mean to you as somebody that is looking to either buy or sell silver or gold? Before I do talk about the reasons as to why this is a losing proposition, I've got 5 reasons why. I do want to quickly share with you the history of the gold-silver ratio. Now, if we take a look at the gold-silver ratio history, it dates back to around the year 3000 BC, where the first Egyptian pharaoh Menes declared that it was 2.5 parts of silver equal to 1 part of gold. Also, this is key right here. Many silver investors believe the ratio should be set at 16-1, which is the ratio of gold to silver in the Earth's crust. And others think this ratio should drop further, since 9 times more silver than gold is currently mined. Silver proponents believe that given the amount of silver used in industrial processes, manufacturing, and solar panels, the ratio should be more favorable to silver than gold. So as you see, the gold-silver ratio is something that's been around for thousands of years. It is a strategy that people use to determine whether or not they should trade in and out of one particular metal for the other. Now I'm going to share with you with 5 reasons as to why I think that using the gold-silver ratio is actually a losing proposition. And these aren't necessarily any kind of particular order. These are all just important reasons that I think you should keep in mind if you are looking to do the gold-silver ratio. First thing that you want to consider are the fees, okay? Fees are something that are built into the purchases of your silver and gold, as well as the sale of your silver and gold. When you are buying silver or gold, you are always going to pay fees, whether it be premiums, whether you're paying taxes. There's built-in costs with the gold and silver that you are buying online or from a local coin shop or what have you. So you have to consider the fees, though, when it comes to sales. A lot of people do prefer to do their sales in person, in my opinion, because then you get to cut out any sort of platform or middleman where they will actually charge you a percentage. So apps like Whatnot, where you can actually buy and sell on their app, they do charge a percentage anywhere between 4 to 9%. You have things like PayPal, which will charge you around 3% plus 30 cents per transaction. You have Cash App, you've got Venmo. There's a whole host of different payment methods that you can use. However, you're going to have to pay fees on that. So when you consider what the gold-silver ratio is, and if you're looking to trade from one to another, you have to consider those fees that you are paying. I know that a lot of people will kind of just forget about those fees and they're just going to look at the gold silver ratio number to make themselves feel better about the actual trade. They'll say, oh, I was buying silver when it was 118 to 1, but then I just sold it when it was at 84 to 1 or 90 to 1. That's 30 extra, ounces of silver that I was able to accumulate back then, and now I'm going to be able to get more gold. You have to remember to keep, be honest with yourself. Factor in what the fees are, because most likely those fees, once those eat away at your profit margins, your gold silver ratio is no longer going to be what you're thinking it is. Also, a lot of times it's going to be very rare for you to actually be able to do just an even swap, an 84 silver eagle coin swap with like a 1 ounce gold buffalo or 1 ounce gold eagle. Most of the time, you're not going to be able to do something like that. Maybe some local coin shops will allow you to do that if you have a very good relationship with them and they're willing to just do an equal swap. Then, you might want to consider doing something like that. But most likely, they're not going to just say, oh, the gold silver ratio is X. Let's just swap out. Especially if anything has been really evident these last couple of years, is that the physical metals prices have really diverged from the spot prices. So no longer can people really say that the silver and gold prices are really, really closely tied to the spot price. We've seen silver eagles that used to trade for about $250 over spot about 5 years ago. Now they're going for $10 to $15 over spot. So doing a quick swap, an even exchange, is really not likely, especially now. The other thing you're going to want to take into consideration are the taxes. Now, if you're doing everything via like cash and you're meeting with somebody in like a public place, you always got to be safe. You're meeting in a public place and you're doing just like a cash deal, then, I don't really think a lot of people are going to be rushing to go report the cash deal that they just made and pay Uncle Sam the taxes that are due. You do have to consider, though, any transactions over $10,000 in sales are going to require you to file a tax form with the IRS, especially if it's an electronic sale, which is why a lot of people like to do their sales via cash, and they like to keep everything hush-hush. The other thing you have to consider is time lost. When you're looking to sell your precious metals, time is involved. You have to find a buyer. You have to find the payment method that you're going to use to sell those precious metals. You're going to have to probably drive to a destination to meet with the person that's going to be buying those metals from you, or you're going to have to drive and spend time packing up your items and shipping them, and you're going to have to drive to the UPS store or to the USPS. So time lost. Don't forget that time is money. That's not something that I made up. That's just an expression that's been used for hundreds of years. Time and money, you have to consider that. Missed opportunities. This is a big one. This is the fourth reason. I've said this many times before. Stacking silver and gold is a long game. If you are looking to trade and make money off of the sales of silver and gold, then you're not going to want to necessarily be messing around with the physical stuff, because that's going to take quite a long time. You're going to want to be doing like day trading and stuff like that. But when it comes to buying and stacking, some people, they'll look at the gold silver ratio and they won't make an acquisition. They won't buy gold or they won't buy silver because the gold silver ratio isn't at a particular number that they have in their head as to when it's a good time to buy. And if you do that, and if you get tied to this number and you get just stuck saying, you know what, gold has to hit this number or silver has to hit this number before I actually buy this metal, then you're going to miss the opportunities that you have had to stack gold or to stack silver because you were just on the sidelines waiting for this ideal moment, which may never actually come around. And the fifth reason that I wrote down here is finding buyers, not a LCS. And that's just not a local coin shop that I'm referring to. It could be any kind of business. When you are looking to sell your silver or gold for the other metal, you are going to want to find a peer-to-peer individual. You're going to want to find someone who is actually going to pay you directly because they are not necessarily in the business to have to flip and resell it. When you go to a local coin shop or you go to a retailer online, when they go to buy your metals, you are going to take a haircut. You are not going to get as much money that you normally would be able to off of, let's say, just another collector or a stacker. And the reason being is you have to think about those businesses. They are in business to buy low and sell high. They will offer you a lower deal that you would potentially get from a person, because they have to then take that metal and they have to go turn around and sell that metal to the next customer. So you want to keep these 5 things in mind when you are thinking about playing the gold-silver ratio. It's these are some of the reasons as to why I don't mess around with the gold-silver ratio. I just buy gold when I want to buy gold, and I just buy silver when I want to buy silver. Let me know in the comments down below, do you agree with my thought process here? Do you play the gold-silver ratio, or do you also agree with me that these 5 things kind of determine that it is not exactly the best strategy to use? Let me know in the comments down below. And I would like to quickly thank these elite channel supporters. And if you haven't already become a channel member, please check out the awesome perks and join today. With that, this is Empire Precious Metals. Until next time, long live the Empire.